Welcome to today's episode, everybody. Currently at the moment I'm charging my auxiliary battery because I've got a long story short, I got a problem. Bracket's sheared. Gonna have to take off the old bracket and put a new one on it, or try and find a replacement of the stock one, because I'm not going to a GM one wire, because it's ridiculous. I spent a lot of time getting this dual battery set up with the stock system. So yeah, well, today's episode is going to be about the lights on the doors. Hey, how's it going? The lights on the doors. Okay, so I've been upgrading all my lights in the car with these LED Festoon bulbs. All of them in the car are 3175. That one is, and the two doors are. Now, the thing is with the doors, they're always on. So when you open up your door, this button gets depressed and it turns the light on. That's very helpful at night, but when you have the light on all day while you're working on the truck, or have the doors open just for whatever reasons and purposes, it'll drain the battery. So what I've done to counteract that is not a lot of people say just put LEDs in. You know, they're so low wattage that it take a lot of time to you know, kill the battery. Well, when I'm running their stereo, you know, even with the dual battery setup, it's still a pain in the ass. So what I did was I bought these relays. These are photodiodes. It's basically a relay module, uses a photodiode. So this little photodiode right here, you can set it using that little blue square right there. This one right here. You can set it to how sensitive it is, and basically you can set it to where if it senses light, it'll turn on or flip the relay, or if it senses a less amount of light, it'll flip the relay. So what I want to do is that I want to set it to where the ambient light outside is so low that it'll flip these on. So I don't have to worry about draining the battery, and I can still have the lights on at night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook it in line to the power wire that powers these lights, and adjust it so that they work only when it's dark. So that's this project today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the panel and get to the back of the panel. So okay, everybody, I thought I'd explain the photodiodes relay modules. So basically you have your relay. It'll actually take 125 volt AC, or up to, I'm not sure how many volts DC, but I know it does work on 12 volt DC. See, it says 12 volt DC, but it'll take 120 volts. So you can actually use these for like houses and whatnot too. But basically the concept of this is that I'm glad I have dual batteries, because you actually need a separate, what they recommend is a separate power source. So because this will go from like 8 to 12 or 8 to 16 or some kind of voltage, you can also use a 9 volt battery on this side, because this is your power and your ground. But basically what they want you to do, what they recommend is that you isolate this circuit from this circuit. So if you have like maybe a something that turns on only for the ignition, that's an isolated circuit from an all-time, like something that's just getting battery voltage all the time, which my doors are. So but obviously, yeah, you would need your ignition key in before you got light, which kind of defeats the purpose of this. So what I do is I'm going to hook the volt. It's going to get power from one battery, the auxiliary battery. That's a completely isolated circuit. As you can see, it's completely isolated through the isolator, and also through my solenoid, which allows me to click it on and off to be charged. So that way I can have two different aged batteries. Because everybody recommends the blue and yellow top Optimas. That one's a deep cycle, the other one's kind of like a half and half. But this is a newer battery, so it's going to hold charge a lot longer, be a lot more charged than the other one, because I've juiced that one a lot. So I can monitor the voltage on that one using a voltmeter, and or a voltage gauge that I have inside the car, digital one. And when I see that the voltage is getting a little too low, I can just plop on the switch as the car is running, and it'll charge the battery. And then when I feel that it's gotten enough, I can always test it, turn it off, and then look at the voltage where it's at, and then see what's up. So But basically, yeah, this basically, okay, so you have your 12 volt DC and your ground on this side from a separate circuit or a separate power source. This one has the COM, the normally closed and normally open, which is NC and NO. Your communications is this very, or not COM, your common is what they mean, is your very top one. So that's where your 12 volt power comes in. Now, a lot of the videos that I saw online for these are like, there's not very many on them, but one or the other does it. So it just depends on which one you want. Do you want the light? Do you want it to turn on with light, or do you want it to turn on with dark? And so as of right now, I'm not sure which one it is because I haven't tested these yet. So I'm thinking it's normally open, because I don't know that the concept being is that what is this relay? Is it normally open or is it normally closed? Because if it's normally closed, then you want the normally open part. You know, you want it to basically be triggered the opposite of this diode. Because if it's normally set as open, then the diode will close it. So that's the whole concept. You want it to be the opposite of what it normally is, but they don't tell you. So basically that's what I'm gonna have to figure out, whether it's the normally closed or normally open. But that's where the other power wire comes out of. So comes with 4 mounting holes as well, and I'm gonna find some way of putting it up underneath here, but I've basically drilled, I mean, I put a hole right there, but I might just put a hole right here so that I can have a little bit of space between it. But the whole concept being is that the photodiode's gonna go up through here on the panel up here, and when I open the door, and if it's dark, it'll turn on. So I can always adjust the sensitivity using this variable resistor right here. That's what that is. And you just get a little small screwdriver and change it using that. Okay, I wanted to let everybody know that, like I said, my lights are permanently on. These are with the new LEDs. Yes, they are very bright. Very bright. A lot brighter than the other ones. But you can see the keys are not in. And nothing's on. My dual battery setup's telling me that there is no ignition setup at all. Nothing. It's to the off position. These are full-time lights. So when you have your door open, they turn on. The problem with that is that, like I said, they drain the battery. So I just wanted to show everybody what I meant when I said full-time lights. So yeah, this is the LEDs now. You can see that they're much brighter. You can see there's no keys in the car, which is this one right here. Everybody that knows Toyotas and Toyota trucks and everything knows that key. Yeah, so it's whenever the car door closes, this button right here is depressed and turns the light off. Well, when you open up the car door, full-time lights. Yeah, so you drain your battery. That's why I'm about to, I just wanted to show everybody this before I put in the light sensor diode, which is that right there in the plastic. Here's a short preview, everybody. Dark, light goes on. Light, it's not on. This is what it does. It's hooked up to the normally closed, or normally open actually, normally open. I'm gonna come back out here later on and set it to what I want. Alright, here's pretty much the final thing. You can see the photo sensor, or photodiode right here. It gets dark, it'll come on. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to come out here when I feel that it would be about the time that I want the light to come on, and adjust it. But that's the final product, so that I can keep these doors open without doing anything, without having to drain the battery. So yeah, there you go. Now obviously I've upgraded to the LEDs, so they're brighter. I'm gonna have brighter lights, and now they won't come on during the day. So that's a small little modification that you can do for any light source actually. Okay, so both doors are done. I'm waiting to for the lighting conditions outside to be appropriate to set them to where they're where I want them to come on. I feel like right now it's still a little bit too much light outside. You know, I can still see, so there's no point in having them on. But I've noticed that, watch this one. I can walk in front of it quite a distance away. Watch, where's it at? Right here. I mean, I'm about 2 or 3 feet away from the door, but because I'm blocking that laser, it's about that. So, see, boom, see, automatically turns on and off. This one, I don't know if it's set as sensitive. This one's a little bit more up, but it does work. It was a pain in the butt to get these things, because I guess this light wasn't working because I guess the ground is severed on the original line somewhere along the line, and so I had to pretty much run a whole new ground and power. But whatever. My battery's starting to get a little bit too crowded up front. I need to get another couple more junction blocks to where I have one junction block for all-time battery use and one for keyed on ignition, because the only one I have is on keyed on ignition, and you can see that there's a lot of stuff that needs all power. Yeah, see all that stuff? I think there's only actually 2 extra lines that are on there, which is the white line and that little speaker wire line. But basically it's the same thing. I mean, you know, everything's starting to get a little bit crowded. You know, you can see there's a lot of wires in here, a lot of wiring. But I guess I can just wiring harness it. But yeah, so the auto door lights work. Just like I said, waiting until it gets dark enough to where I feel that that's when I want the lights to come on, and then I'll set them. So yeah, that's today's project. I'll leave a parts description below for the part number. Yeah, see, this one's set a little bit lower. But yeah, I'll leave a part number for these parts, these photodiode modules, and where I bought them from. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Anybody who has a 4Runner that might happen to have, I call them battery drain doors, can use this modification to where they still have lights on their thing and whatnot. And then obviously I'll leave the part number for the LEDs. If anybody has not converted to an LED, as opposed to the original Festoon bulbs, which are, let me see, do I have one somewhere in here? Give me a second. Here we go. Obviously, this isn't the right Festoon bulb that was supposed to be in there, but if anybody still has these in their trucks, I suggest you guys go to the LED ones. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this modification, and please feel free to modify it yourself. You know, think big.